better at this. We are scheduling and making sure you see the thumbnail and know that at the top of my page, you will see that we are live. So awesome, awesome. Obviously people are gonna be spilling in and all that good stuff. I'm just pulling up everything so I can see the live chat happening. Remember, this is always an active Q&A. So I am going to answer all of your questions that you have, especially what we've talked about with our discipline diaries. We have officially finished week 3, which was nutrition, macros, calories, meal plans, all that good stuff. I've had recipes. Today was a lot of rapid fire tips, and where people kind of fall off when it comes to that. Because in the big universe that is social media, and as it's become bigger, it is actually extremely daunting for anyone starting their journey to know exactly where to start. So please drop your questions if you have any specific to that. But we have to be real with ourselves, especially when it comes to anything discipline, when it comes to nutrition, fitness, again, because there's so much out there on the internet. How are you supposed to filter through the garbage and the nonsense and understand what's going to work for you? So most people fail at, making a plan, whether it's fitness, wellness, nutrition, because there's not the system in place. And I always talk about systems because it's not that the person doesn't want results, right? Everyone listening here probably has some kind of wellness goal, whether it's, living a longer life or, just getting off of medications, which is entirely possible, people. So please understand that. But they're not failing because they're lazy. They're not failing because they don't want the end result. They're failing because their plan doesn't fit their real life. How often have you scrolled through? What's up, Mysterious Maths? Hello. So it's the fact that we are looking at other people and having really unrealistic expectations for ourselves, where we're at physically, how we've been eating, what's accessible to us in our area. Like, I don't live near a Whole Foods, so I really have to go out of my way to find something that works for me. My dogs are being crazy. Can everyone hear me okay? I'm using a microphone this time to hopefully help, get some good audio out there. So give me a thumbs up or something in the comments if my microphone is working and you can hear me. It's nice to see all of you. Yes, clearly. Awesome. That is incredible. And remember, please drop comments at all times. I have my laptop up so I can monitor it. If I don't catch it on my computer, I can scroll through on either. So I'm just always I'm like a little DJ up here trying to answer questions and make sure that I'm out there. Awesome. I appreciate everyone. So have all of you seen the video from today and Thursday? And I'm going to go close my door really quick. So I'll be back in 2 seconds. I have 2 really big dogs, and they would like to come in here and watch everything that I'm doing. So are those trophies from the American? So those 2 are from a bodybuilding competition in 2021. So that was the last competition I ever did to step on stage. So those are both 3rd place trophies. It was a national qualifier. But yeah, no, good times. It was a really, being an underdog, I was a complete underdog. I didn't have any, reputable anything repping me. So to get 2 3rd place trophies in 2 categories was awesome. I'm just reading through the medals from me. Yep, so those, I think I answered that question. I kind of like black. Well, that's good for you. Everyone likes their own things, you know what I mean? So I was in a very bad mental condition for long periods. Okay, cool. So I competed in the IFBBs. That's what I did. So I was actually in the wellness category. So when I did it in 2020, I was in the bikini category. And then I was like, I can put on a lot more weight than that, as in muscle and toning, and it's a little bit curvier. So the wellness category was much more my style. Bikini was a little too small for me. So yes, so the subject for tonight, we are talking about nutrition, fitness. The last 2 weeks that we've had of the discipline diaries, this is where you can throw your questions at it, but also we were just talking about having a plan, and that people, it's not that they don't want results, is why their plans aren't failing because they don't want the results. It's not failing because they're lazy. It's failing because they don't have a system, or you're comparing yourself to someone on a completely different journey, maybe 10, 20 years into the journey, even 5 years. People can make significant gains. And I've been in the, fitness space for over a decade at this point in very different ways. Military was different. Prior to that, was not an athlete, but I was a runner. Not that I was like an Olympic runner by any means, but I ran. So I did the military, then I did CrossFit in college, again, still training for the military. And then it was like hybrid during the Army. That's very like you're running, you're kind of lifting, you're moving some weights, you're climbing ropes, you're climbing over obstacles. Very different. Then I went into bodybuilding, and then I still carried on bodybuilding traditionally in the gym, but I wasn't competing anymore. And then I was like, I really want to go back to my roots and start running again and being a little bit more endurance based. So I'm just reading through these. I never used steroids, which is a good. Yeah, we did talk about steroids last time. What I am looking to, which I did talk about last week as well, was peptides. So I'm doing a lot of research on that, on different companies, what they do, like BPC 157, joint health, things like that. So I'm looking into some different things right now, but I'm about to get my blood work done, and I'm actually going to document this entire journey because I think it's incredibly important to know what's out there and to, I don't want to say stay away from all this. I'm not a doctor to tell you steroids are bad or this or that, but I see a lot of bad things happening in the bodybuilding world, which is again why I don't compete. I did talk about that last week. I don't think it's a healthy way of living, which is why I don't do it anymore. So, sorry, I'm trying to read through all of this. I love that you guys are bringing the comments. I appreciate that. Hope everyone's having an amazing Sunday and that you're ready for an incredible week ahead and that it's the best week of your life. And I'll always tell you that. That is one thing with me, is that I always wish you the best week, the best day, the best month, whatever. Like, I want to spread positivity and I want that to be reciprocated, of course, as well. So if you got any hate here, we don't got room for that. Let's see. I am not married. I have been married before. Typical military, love story, right? It ends in divorce. So let me. Oh, disgusting. So we're going to remove that person. Okay. Is in the state of loss and depression, but after embracing is on. Interesting. Okay. Oh boy. Okay. All right, well, we're going to get right into it. There's a lot of interesting things in the comments. Dana Bailey, I am familiar with her. If you have a specific, I don't know anything like specific about that, but I do know exactly who she is. She's one of the originals, like the OGs on bodybuilding.com. So, of course, I have heard of her and seen everything that she's done. You just ate 5,000 calories. Awesome. I love that for you. That is so much. I thought 2,300 was like, oh my God, I'm so full. But I can't even imagine doubling that daily, Vinny. So that is absolutely wild. Yeah. So, okay, cool. Let's get into it. Now that I've read through some of these comments, please let me know if you have questions pertaining to this. But tonight we're trying to break down exactly what is happening in this sphere of why we're not getting results and what is the trigger to that? Why are we not getting the results that we want? So if you have specific questions, please let me know, and try to save all the interesting comments for later or just do whatever. Honestly, when you go live or when you have a presence anywhere, you are just opening up to the insanity that I'm reading right now. But I do appreciate everyone being here, so thank you. So most people don't follow any kind of plan, right? You follow a plan that was made for somebody else. Okay, so on my video, if any of you watched it, and please put a thumbs up if you did watch my video on Thursday, and today I had another drop, so please be sure to check that out. It's a quick 10 minutes. My Sundays are the recap and a little bit more depth in the mindset of the Thursday video for anyone that's new to it. But Sunday we talked about macro breakdown. I actually show you on my computer how I do it for clients and how other coaches are doing this, right? Because you can chat GPT stuff, like a meal plan with your calories and stuff, but you always want to double check because it's not always accurate. So if anyone's specifically just using AI to develop a meal plan, And I'm sure it'll get better over time. Make sure that you always double check with something like a MyFitnessPal, that it's very reputable out there, and they do have a free version. You don't have to buy something, off the bat. So the thing is, with macros and why these matter, right? So for the longest time, people are like, we need to eat to our calories. Like, okay, 1,800 calories is how I'm gonna lose the weight. Like, that's great. But 1,800, I'm sorry, 18,000, that's like a beluga whale. That is not what we're talking about. But eating to calories is absolutely incorrect, because your calories are made up of your macronutrients, micro and macronutrients. There's a lot to this in science, but let's just focus on the macros right now and keep it, base level. So we got your protein, carbs, and fats. So when people say they're just eating to calories, those calories consist of pizza, beer, ice cream. And let's say I hit my 1,800 calorie goal and all I ate were those things, right? Which is going to be pretty quick. If you're eating like crap, garbage food, you're going to fill those calories up fast. But when you know those calories and break them up into macronutrients, now you're eating towards goals. Now you're eating towards getting results. And I hate to break it to y'all, to be the one to do this if you didn't know it already, but you have to cook. You have to cook some food. Get an air fryer. Get some things that are healthy, but another way to do it. It makes it 10 times easier. I have stuff in the air fryer right now for tonight, and I'm stoked about that because I can do this. It turns off by itself. It's timed. There's temperature controls, everything. It's a game changer. But macros, lifestyle, and training styles, they all have to be individualized per the person. A 25-year-old athlete is not going to eat or perform the same as, a 35-year-old single mom who works full time and all that, and hardly moves, right? Like, let's say hardly has, and just goes to the gym once in a while. So you have to understand that. Not saying that a 30-year-old can't be super fit and healthy. I see it all the time. I have tons of friends who are in that category. However, you have to understand that, like, seeing someone go, this is what I eat in a day, like, that's cool. You need to make sure to calculate that to yourself. It's based on your height, your weight, your age, your activity levels, your hormones, your stress. All these different things matter. So you have to track it for yourself. And I think I need to catch up on some of these comments before I go deep into this. Okay. I saw some Tech Bro people podcasts where they talked about AI making juice with no side effects. Interesting. I'd be curious to know more about that. A Diddy fan? No, I have a child, unfortunately. So, not unfortunately, unfortunate for Diddy. I love being a mom, 100%. I'm a woman, to answer that question. People always have some random ass questions. Like, let me try to hurt her feelings. Like, you can't. You can't do that because I control what hurts my feelings. So, yeah, let's just kind of remove people that are saying some crazy shit. All right, counting calories and being yeah, so that's another thing, caloric deficit. When I was prepping for a competition, you have to remember, like, this was a time when you get closer to the stage, you're getting, skinnier, you're getting, and not just skinnier, your muscle definition is really starting to show. You're super vascular. You're doing tons of cardio, you start eating less and like less carbs, right? You're proteining up and having some fats. You're carb cycling really heavy, doing cardio heavy. You're lifting heavy, like 6 out of 7 days of the week. And I would get approached and asked all the time, how do I get abs like that? Like, what exercise do you do? Abs are made in the kitchen. Everyone has them because everyone has the same skeletal system, muscular system, unless you were born differently. But for the most part, right, I'm talking to like just basic anatomy. You have a 6-pack under there, 8-pack, whatever. It's the layer of fat and other things over it that are covering it. So you just doing an ab exercise doesn't make any sense. That is another myth that is needing to be busted, is that you can't spot reduce fat. Okay? You can't just say, I want to lose fat in my thighs or my belly or my my triceps, right? Like you can't just spot reduce something by absolutely just crushing it on one thing. Like I'm gonna do 300 tricep thing. Like that's great if you're super fit. That's actually great. So side note, I am a little ADHD self-diagnosed. So like triceps are one of those muscles that you can train every single day and it's not going to stop growing, so to speak. So if you did do like 300 tricep like extensions a day for like a week, you would absolutely see results. It's one of those weird muscles that does that. Look it up. It's great. It's awesome. Anyway, so I randomly came across your channel. I must say I don't. Okay, cool. So anyways, okay, without reading those, obviously that is going to be very distracting. So hormone level, health, activity level, weight, height, age, all these things we talked about, all your demographics and basic things really matter when it comes to developing your own personal macros and calories. Stress level. I tend to carry a lot of stress. I do so, full time. I'm editing videos. Like that's what I did all day. I edited things for other clients, other people. I do photography. I do social media, all these different things. So my the stress level is relatively high, like all the time, because I always have deliverables, right? It like never ends. And then I'm doing my own. So it's interesting to know that your stress really does affect how you perform, how your weight carries, fat development, everything like that. So maintaining a good normal level of stress, like when you're at the gym, like I have a Whoop band and it does calculate my stress, my sleep, everything like that, which I absolutely love it. So it's one of those things where I can tell my stress levels and then it tells me the times that I had a heightened stress. And usually it's when I'm like working out, if I'm outdoors doing something. It's interesting to see where the peaks are so that I can learn to really focus on that and be like, okay, what do I need to do to bring like that stress level down? So, yes. So yes, you can train your abs all day. 100% can train your abs. But until you lose fat, like lose that fat layer, they're not going to be exposed, but you can train them. And if you have a strong core and then lose the fat, like it's going to pop. So that's what people don't understand. You have to be in a caloric deficit. That's kind of where my tangent went off, is that I would get approached all the time, how do you do this, what exercise? And I said, it's in the kitchen. It's the hard part, right? So when it comes to nutrition and working out was not the hard part for me. I absolutely love going to the gym or going on a jog or something like that. It was the nutrition part because like, A, you might not like cooking. 2, it's difficult because you have to be able to measure it. It takes a lot of time. But at the same time, you know what else takes a lot of time? Like being on medication and going to the doctors all the time because you're sick. So that takes a lot of time. Dying early because of not taking care of your body. You know what? I'm willing to, weigh my food and calculate all these things and package up food because that to me, and living a little bit longer is more important to me than, just like dying and being like, well, I could have done that differently. So my bones are all out of joint. Working isn't good for you. Working out isn't good for you. I would disagree. It depends on what your doctor says. I'm not a doctor here giving that kind of advice here, but even a walk weekly, do it 3 times a week if you can, it can change your life. I'm not saying working out like you need to be lifting heavy weights. I talked about this in a different video and kind of exposed the pros and cons of different training styles and just the really flashy ones like powerlifting and CrossFit, bodybuilding, and all the pros and cons to them. There are cons to every type of way of training. That's why I train hybrid. It's very well-rounded. You take breaks, you work on mobility because again, mobility is super important. So what's your thoughts? I've never used the Oura Ring, but I do have friends that swear by it. So some people don't like wearing things on their wrist. I'm super used to it. In the Army, I always wore a watch. So now, and they actually make these where you can have like an Apple Watch and your Whoop on at the same time because I thought I don't want to have 2 bands on. So I might get an Apple Watch, but I don't even need any more distractions than I already have. So I'll just keep it to my phone. But I like the Whoop band. I don't know what the Oura Ring does as far as like the Whoop has implemented like sleep health, step count, It's starting to measure like VO2 max. I want to say they're adding that as well. So that's really interesting. So I would have to personally experience that ring to know like the differences. And the trophies behind me, we talked about this in the beginning, but those are from bodybuilding. They're only third place, so the second loser. So really proud of those. I got those 2 trophies and I was like, yep, I'm done. Sorry, you could probably, no, I don't, I'm a lover, not a fighter. Well, I have fought back in the day. That's a different story for a different platform, you know, like that's back in the youngin' days. I got scars to prove it on my knuckles, actually. But anyways, that's a different story. I'm not trying to get, off the platform. I don't know what that last question is. Tony Stark. I've never done TRT, no. Anyways, so moving on. So if you've ever followed some kind of program and you're like, why isn't this working for me? It's probably because it wasn't built for you, right? There's a lot of programs out there. And I was a personal trainer online for a while, and I still do here and there when someone asks me and I know them in person, I'm like, yes. And I do it online. Again, I don't go in person because I'm trying to really focus on creating boundaries around my time, because time, energy, those things are, you can't get them back, right? Like you can always make another dollar, but you can't get time and energy back. Those to me are the most critical forms of, what is the word I'm looking for? Someone put in the comments, please. I can't even know what I'm thinking of. But those matter so much to me. But anyways, with online training, oh, what the heck? See, this is so distracting to read all these. But where was I going with that content? Where was I going with that train of thought? I got a deep voice. I know. And I used to be a singer, soprano. Can you imagine that? Just as I've gotten older, I guess. Smartwatches can count even how much farts you do. Probably. Hey, I heard you burn calories doing that, so that's great. Currency, thank you. Someone's actually listening to me and not putting just absolute nonsense in this chat. So, gosh, it is so hard to do live stream. This is why I like them and don't like them, because there's people who are legitimately here, and there's others who are here to just troll and ask some ridiculous stuff. What's up from Chicago? I'm in Texas, so what's up from Texas? But there's a ton of YouTubers out there, but my favorite is Nate Bear. He's Hybrid Fitness. Absolute beast, great channel, excellent stuff there. So I would say that's a good one. Okay. Yeah, so there's some interesting things here. So you probably scroll through social media, see all these, plug and play cookie cutter type, like this is how you grow this is how you lose fat fast. And it's just not built to you, or they're using other people to do it, or using AI and taking the guesswork out of it, right? They're like, oh, here you go. Here's a simple plan. Anyone can do that. You can literally get results by just walking and AIing some calorie macro stuff. If you know your splits, and I talked in the Thursday video, a basic split is 40% protein, 35% carb, 25% fat. And then when you get really into it and that you get used to just that split, now you start carb cycling, heavier carbs, 35% carbs on your leg days, or a heavy run day, or whatever your day that you feel like you're exerting the most energy. And then you flip-flop. Rest days should be less carbs and more fats. So it seems really daunting, but if you really want results, you have to cater it to yourself. And I'm not saying all coaches are like that, but there's so many online fitness coaches that don't even have certifications, because you don't need one to sell coaching. I do have a certification. But does that mean it makes me better than other people? Absolutely not. Certifications are, not all created equal as well. But I do say do your research, see what kind of certifications they have, because what if you get injured, or what if you have an extenuating circumstance? What if you can't eat certain things because of inflammatory reasons? You need to make sure that the person you are trusting the information from knows what they're talking about. And another thing is, when you go to the grocery store and you see all these labeled things that are healthy, carb-free, sugar-free, lactose-free, this and that. There's a lot of other crap in the ingredients you need to read. An easy thing, if you don't use ChatGPT, you should, but there's other apps as well, and I forget the name, it's on the tip of my tongue. But you can scan these nutrition labels and find out what's actually in it and what they do. So I had posted on my video today, there's a bread, like sola bread, which is like carb free, which is freaking weird in itself, right? And again, people who are trying to diet, and I hate the word diet, I prefer just a nutrition plan, like how I'm going to eat to fuel my performance and be healthy long term. But this bread has all these different ingredients in it, right? It's like, oh, we don't have any sugars, we don't have carb, blah, blah, blah. But then you look in the ingredients and it's like it has inulin, which is highly inflammatory, sunflower oil, which is a very low grade, like super processed oil. A lot of things are in these ingredients. You have to realize like the shortcut, easy way doesn't really exist when it comes to longevity and optimization. Hey, I appreciate it, Jarrett, because this is just some nonsense. It makes you not want to do lives, you know, like being here sometimes, like eating this. But some people have legitimate questions and things, which I really appreciate. Intensity of effort is key. Agree. You must train close to failure to keep growing. Yep. So it depends on your goals. Is it fat loss? Is it muscle gain? Is it a hybrid? Is it just to look good and feel good? Like you need to, that's the absolute first beginner step, is understanding like what is your goal? Is it the same as other people? Probably not. So you need to like if you're, let's say you calculate your daily calories and it's 2,000. Okay, great. That 2,000 that you calculate is your maintenance. That means you need to eat 2,000 calories a day to maintain the weight that you are at. If you're trying to lose weight, you need to knock around 100 to 200 calories off of that. And then to gain, the opposite. You add 100 calories for that. And it might differentiate, right? You know, there's going to be like 150 or 175, whatever it is. But you have to find that sweet spot for yourself, but you first need to identify, why are you doing this in the first place? Like, why are you training? Why are you working out? Understand that goal. Is it to look a certain way, or is it to feel a certain way? Is it a combination? Understand that for yourself first. Okay? All right, understand the concept thing. Awesome. I always try to be a real talk type of person. So what's my protein intake? Oh boy. What do you guys think my protein intake is? I want to know. But I am, oh my gosh, I have like 2 screens up right now trying to read all this stuff. Okay. What do we got? 170, 138, okay. 120, 150. Cool. All right, what else we got? It's called sleeping abs. Any thoughts on intermittent fasting? I think we asked that last week. I've done it before when I was more in the keto phase. I don't think it's bad at all. I typically fast, 9 p.m. at night, and I don't eat till after 9 a.m. in the mornings. That's technically like, a 12-hour fast. And that's if you're not having a coffee with creamer and all this stuff, because there's calories in it, right? Because breakfast literally means breaking your fast. And if anyone didn't know that, I've just blown your mind. Because when I realized that years ago, I was like, is that why we call it that? So anyone guessing my protein? Oh, I keep mixing this up. It's around like 200 to 220 grams of protein. Because I'm at like 2,200 calories to build muscle right now. So that's where I'm at right now. But yeah, see, people that are saying I'm lucky if I hit 100 or if it's hard to hit your protein goals, that's why it's so important to list them out and know that you don't need to eat a slab of chicken or steak to meet that goal. You can have a protein ball, a shake, handful of nuts or whatever, a Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, fill it with some other stuff. But you have to calculate it all, right? Because there's a lot of hidden things in food, but also adding like a little bit of honey, like make sure it's not over a certain amount. So yeah. Okay. But yeah. So sorry, scrolling through these things, it's so interesting. Cool. Do we have any other good questions? We eat the same protein. Heck yeah. Okay, so another thing I want to talk about is like the all or nothing approach or like mindset thinking is that let's say you miss a day. Like the whole plan isn't ruined, right? Like your whole like whatever you've done is not absolutely ruined. You got to have like a bounce back approach to discipline, right? And my rule of thumb is I cannot go 2 days in a row without working out. Max 3. Let's say that's because I was traveling or something, or maybe because I do have travel days that come up for some of the gigs I work. And usually there's hotel gyms, and I do make it a point to go down there. Even if it's on the treadmill for like an hour, I'll just walk and listen to a podcast if that's all they have accessible. So, and there's a lot of walking involved in these events that I go to. But just keep in mind that like set a rule for yourself and a boundary. And it's like, I will not go 2 days in a row without working out. But know that like just because you didn't show up to one doesn't mean the entire plan is ruined. Or maybe you ate something bad and went over your calories one day. It does not mean you can't get back on track. Like that's absolutely incorrect. Okay. Is training 4 times a week enough with upper lower split? Yes, 100%. If you're working out 4 times a week, and that's better than doing nothing 4 times a week, right? In addition to the other, 3 days that you're not doing anything. 4 days is enough if it's intentional. I say always have a plan. Are they splits that you've changed up every 3 to 4 weeks? Like try to change up your routine every 3 to 4 weeks. And that doesn't mean anything crazy. Like your major movements are always going to be the same. Deadlifts, squats, shoulder press, things like that, chest press, anything like that. But make sure that you do change it up because your body will start to get used to these movements and you want to be able to challenge it in a way. So always try to change it up. Add some endurance in there too. Like, after you do a bench press, do 10 to 15 push-ups. After you do something else, add some mountain climbers to it and put a timer on. Like just try to change up what you're doing. What's up, Manuel? Do I need less calories on rest days? It's not less calories. It's going to be more of a cycle of like less carbs because your calories will still be the same. But you want to switch around the macros. So we kind of alluded to that earlier. So on your rest days, you're going to eat the same. You want to have a protein goal. Always have a protein goal. That is what men, women, whatever, tend to under-consume protein. So you're going to want to lower the carbs on your rest days and eat more like healthy fats, right? So your avocados, your eggs, your things like that. And I eat eggs almost daily, but sometimes doing egg whites as opposed to the full egg, whatever. Cholesterol, I'm like, there's good cholesterol too and bad cholesterol. You got your HDL and your LDL, so like don't be talking to me about no cholesterol. Yes, you do need 1 gram per kilogram of protein a day. And sometimes they say like 1 per, like something with your weight or whatever. But I always calculate that out per the weight because my weight sometimes changes, but I'm usually in the 140 to 143 pound. That's like where I'm best, where I feel best. Cool. Yeah, dirty bulking with no limits. Yeah, when people say they're bulking, I feel like it's just an excuse to eat whatever the flip they want. I'm trying not to get, taken off of here. But and not that bulking isn't real, right? Like it's not that it's not a real thing. Like putting on muscle mass is absolutely a real thing, but like eat clean, eat like good proteins. You don't need to eat like pizzas just to hit your 5,000 calorie goal or whatever it is. Yeah, cheese and butter. That's another thing with lactose. I don't even drink regular milk anymore. And I grew up drinking tons of cups like this of milk a day, like 2%, 1%. Like that's how I grew up because we were told by the doctor, are you drinking 8 cups of milk a day? And now I'm like, lactose is actually not the best thing for us. I don't even add cheese to anything anymore. And does that mean I don't eat a slice of pizza every now and again? 100% I do. But I don't go out of my way to consume lactose. Even with like Greek yogurts, I don't consume it all the time because I will feel a little weird because I try not to have a lot of lactose. in my diet or my nutrition. I don't know what that means. My contacts are like super messed up. So I'm like, some of these words are like, yes, I wear contacts in real life, so I'm blind. High intensity training consumes glycogen and protein. Yeah, and I think it depends on what kind of training you're doing to go 60% carbs. And that's, everyone is different, right? So like, this is like something you have to figure out. You have to realize, like when I went on keto, I could not perform the same without certain carbs in my diet or my nutrition, however, whatever you want to call it. So incredibly important to do your own research and test these things out. And you have to do this for 2 to 4 weeks. Like you can't test something in a few days and be like, it doesn't work for me. I did keto for months and like I lost weight, but I was not performing. I was very lethargic, and that was past the whole keto flu thing. And some people perform really well. Okay, and there's a lot of studies on this, on who it's best for, X, Y, Z, you can, whatever. You have to calculate these things for yourself. You have to understand what's the intensity of your workout, what's the endurance, what is the weight that you're trying to move, what is the goal, there's so many different things. That's why there is no cookie cutter plan for you. You need to know, do you have ailments? Do you have restrictions in the food that you can take, or what's inflammatory to you? You can get a blood test or anything. You can figure out your levels. Like I said in the beginning, like I have a blood test coming up just to test where I'm at, because I've changed. As I've gotten older, things have changed. I don't recover the same, which is why I'm looking at peptides. I'm more tired than I used to be. So I'm like, okay, what's going on? Because I consume so much caffeine in the morning. Why am I tired? Sorry, I'm like super goofy in real life. So if that is irking anybody, sorry, but this is me. I have like a million voices and faces. And I'm not a bodybuilder anymore, whoever said that. I did bodybuild. Now I am a hybrid athlete. I am a coach, but very selectively online, because it does take a lot of work when you're doing it per the person. I cannot say it enough, there is no cookie cutter plan that works for everybody. Although I will say, that's why I showed everyone on the Thursday video. If you just skip to the chapters I put for macro and calorie counting, and I show you the websites I use to do it, you can do this for yourself. If you choose not to, that is on you at that point. That is like my 100% tough love answer to that, is that you just don't want it bad enough. So, while you are doing something and look to molten. Hell yeah, I love that. Sculpted marble. Good freaking point. You always have to know your why, which is your purpose, right? Your greater purpose. I'm not going to do that because it probably means something else. If you haven't found my... it's a must listen. Okay, cool. Heck yeah. Potassium... If potassium isn't a paramount in your diet, you need to adjust. 100%. And did you know that an avocado has more potassium than a banana? If you didn't know that, you know it now. And you learned it here. And tell all your friends that you learned it here. Just kidding. But anyways. Sorry. Contacts, again. I don't mean to be adjusting it like on screen, but I'm like, gosh, they're annoying me. And the weather is changing, so it's like... I started strength training due to having high body fat despite being not much overweight. Yes, strength training doesn't mean you're just going to be bulked up and be like looking like you're carrying suitcases around everyone. Everyone should be doing strength. And if you don't like the terms, go with resistance training. Call it that. Cardio is great, but don't be a cardio queen, right? Like you don't need, or a cardio king, whatever. Implement strength training, resistance training. It doesn't even need to be heavy, but it's like there's so much you can do at home. There's only so much though without weight. And you can find weights around your house, right? It could be a child, a brick, a rock, freaking soup cans, something. You do need resistance training in your routine. If you are able and cleared by a doctor to do so, I understand there are a lot of different circumstances, but you can't like buy a booty band and think you're gonna grow this giant gluteus maximus, because you need weight to do that. You need resistance. You need like weight to change that. To build muscle, you need resistance. You need hypertrophy. You need progressive overload. But anyways, off my high horse. Put on the Have I had Saratoga water yet? No, but there's a Saratoga in New York where I'm like from originally, so that just made me think of that. I have no idea what that means, but please do explain what that means. I'm 32, so I'm super old. Sorry, just reading. I have, okay, the muscle is mostly water bound. Yeah. That's why you need to be drinking a lot of water. And I also had a short video on that. Like, how much water should you be drinking? You should be drinking at least 1 ounce per your body weight. And same with like protein. It should be like 1 gram per pound of your goal body weight. That's what I meant to say earlier. It's your goal body weight. So if you're trying to up or, you know, gain more muscle or lose weight, like say you're 140 pounds, but you want to be 120 grams of protein is like the minimum. In your opinion, what's the best workout to grow? That's not squats. First of all, squats will always forever be my favorite, but also the most like OG workout there is for growing your gluteus maximus, minimus, medius, all of the whatevers. But that just made me think of The Gladiator, which is my favorite movie, by the way. The first one, the original, not the new one. The new one was actually, we don't even need to talk about it. I was fairly disappointed. But if anyone else agrees or disagrees, let me know. But there are a lot of workouts, hip thrusts, leg press, and leg press is very much your foot position and the weight you're putting on. How much resistance are you doing? Are you doing, even with squats or any of these other things, are you making sure there's a hold? Are you just whipping through it? Like anytime I see a dude, it's always a dude on like tricep or bicep or something, and they're just like whipping through it or doing curls like this, like really fast. Like there's a time and a place to like rep out, but if that's every set is like that, time under tension. Hack squats have multiple ways that you can position your feet. You can face front, face back. You can do good mornings. You can do reverse hack squat. You can do front facing quad focus. Bulgarian split squats and lunges, other OG simple movements that will 100% hurt. You'll hate your life for a second, but you'll love the results. And then there's obviously the accessory movements. You have, if you have a glutenator at your gym, love that thing. It also is a killer, which is kind of like hip thrust, except it's free weights and it's a different angle, so you can move it that way. Cable kickbacks, goblet squats, different variation of squats, front squats, freaking side lunges. But some of the OGs are the best. You don't need to do fancy stuff. You really don't need to do anything fancy. When you see people doing something crazy, like just ask yourself, like, how did all these people back in the day get super fit and they didn't have all these crazy exercises they did? Go back to the OGs and then add some accessories that you enjoy. Some of these comments are just crazy. C'est la France. Bonjour. 32, you shouldn't be feeling tired. Yeah, no, that's why I'm getting my blood checked. I'm feeling tired. I'm also like super freaking busy. In a productive way, I live by like my notes. I use highlighters and I like have a checkbox that I can check things off. But I have a lot of things. I use a Google Calendar for time blocking. Like I just have so much. And I'm doing this intentionally, right? Like after this, I'm shutting off for the night and playing board games and watching a movie with my son. Like that is my evening tonight. But I do have a very full plate, so you know, averaging 6 hours, maybe 7 hours of sleep is like normal for me. So I see there's still a lot of questions. I did laugh at the let's start a family. I do have a family. I did talk about those like twice now. Bodybuilding, back in the day, I don't do them anymore. But they're the only trophies I ever actually won. And that's why and this is like my office, right? Like no one sees it. It's on display when you first walk in the house. It's like, oh, this one time I got a trophy for 3rd place, the second loser. But yeah, no, those were, for me, that was the first time I ever really, actually the only time I've ever won a trophy. And I like worked my arse off for those. Okay. Excuse caffeine usage, constant fatigue as well. What's your daily intake? Gosh, probably too much. I'm just a coffee drinker though. Like I don't touch these energy drinks and stuff like that. But I have gone on cycles of cycling off coffee, which I'm probably up for doing that again. Because the thing is, I also love the taste of coffee. So part of me is like, gosh, I might have to go to decaf. I just love coffee. I could drink it at night, in the middle of the day, in the morning, which is a problem, probably. I'm trying to stay hydrated as well. I have my electrolyte water that I drink a couple of times a day. Yep, I'm getting my blood tested, so everyone concerned about my health, thank you very much. And I've been back training for 4 months, so I'd say it's working. That's good. Good for you. Awesome. Well, I appreciate all of you. I know this is like a 45-minute one. Usually it's around 30, 35 minutes, but we'll work up to longer once I have a little bit more of a bandwidth. But I appreciate you all being here. Thanks for listening to me go on and on about a lot of things. So, yeah. Please watch the videos. Leave comments there. Like, help people grow, you know what I mean? But other than that, no, I answer personally to every single comment made on anything. So, yeah, if there's legitimate questions, of course, let me rephrase that for the people here who are like, I'm going to leave some obnoxious stuff. It'll probably get reported by YouTube because there's like filters and stuff for that. But no, I appreciate all of your time. And I hope to see you all next Sunday because we do this every Sunday unless I say otherwise. But so far we've been doing this for like 3 weeks now, live on YouTube. I absolutely love it. I appreciate all of you, like really appreciate all of you, except for the inappropriate ones. But other than that, I got nothing but love to give. So, wow. I love you guys. So that's it. Okay. You have the best week of your freaking life. Like, just do what you want to do. Set some goals for yourself. If you're just starting out, like, just to get back on topic, let me know what questions you have. Comment on a video. That's how I will see it. And let's just get better. Stay disciplined. And remember that you are built to perform. Love you guys.